Hello everyone, it is the build-up show. We are back. Liverpool are taking on Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, 3 o'clock on a Saturday for all you purists out there, which for the vast majority of people who can't get a ticket, like us, means we've got to find some horrendous, dodgy stream, which always bodes well. Chris Pager, hi, you join me for this one.
I do.
John Machin does, and Ste Hoare as well. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello.
Chris, mission top at Christmas begins here. We've got this thing where Liverpool are the only team to ever be top of Christmas and not win the league, and we've done it 3 times now.
Was it 3?
I think it's 3. But no, you've got to be top of Christmas to win the league. So yeah, this is what it's all about. I think it's that point of to do so well against City, to put 8 points ahead of Leicester, to be 9 points ahead of Manchester City is great. But to then fall or drop points at the next available hurdle is a massive thing that we need to avoid.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Liverpool need to go out and win every game, for me, between now and the end of the season. We'd win a lot of trophies if we were able to do that. I'm not sure we will. I do think we'll have too much for Crystal Palace. I think, you know, there's a lot of lads who played a lot of minutes, and I expect to see, between now and Christmas, a lot more rotation from this Liverpool side. But equally, it wouldn't surprise me if he just kept going. And just kept building a points lead up that made everybody think this is unsurmountable, no matter what we do. And like we spoke last week, didn't we, about how I wonder whether if he just keeps playing that first 11, and they keep winning, then Guardiola and Rodgers and everyone just goes, we have to play our first 11 in every game because we have to just win games of football to try and keep up.
Yeah, you make them realise they can't rotate either, and then it's a game of whose squad lasts. Effectively, I think it's interesting that we've got this game at the weekend, and then you've got Napoli. The Napoli game is more important because I think it gives you that ability. If you get the win against Napoli, then you're done in the group stage. You've got through. You can start thinking about the last 16, which means you can use Salzburg however you want to use that game. But I don't know where you stand there, but I kind of agree with Chris. I think these are both almost as important because of City playing Chelsea.
The Premiership has to be as important as anything else we do. So you've got to go with the strongest team you can against Palace and win, and then take on Napoli. I mean, you know, Chris is saying we play the same team, you know, whatever. But there will be changes in our midfield in almost every game.
But it won't be in
the
Premier
League. But there
League.
won't be the team.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be like a change in the team. It'll be the odd midfield player drops in and the other one drops, you know. Yeah. I mean, look, this week we've got the dilemma. Do you play Ginny, who's played a couple of, you know, internationals, and Ox, who's played a couple of internationals, and Henderson, who hasn't played at all, and Jimmy Milner hasn't played at all? So, you know, are you going to say the two who played can wait to Napoli, or do you say we're not interested in who's played what? We're just going to pick the best team we think for Palace?
I think he will do that, to be honest with you, because I think, you know, I take the point about the Champions League. I don't think it's as important to Klopp as the Premier League, if I'm honest. I think he's shown that. Maybe there's reasons, but he starts Keita and he starts Ox against Genk twice, doesn't he? And they must-win games as well, because you have to get 6 points. Now, the opposition isn't probably of the calibre of a Crystal Palace and a Napoli, granted, but he still has to win those games.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've really seen changes in the Premier League side.
But on
as
that
much.
logic, if it is an issue, Palace and Napoli in terms of levels, you'd be maybe more inclined to see him play a team like Genk against Palace than against Napoli, because he's shown when you come against the best of the best opposition, he'll want Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, he'll want the front three in there. But we've seen examples. Look, Villa away stake is an example. Adam Lallana. We know the reason is he wants to keep Fabinho off a yellow card, etc. But he has been prepared to gamble in both competitions. But I think Napoli are such a strong team that he might weight it slightly towards that.
I don't know. I think the fact that we've got injury doubt over a couple of, you know, nailed-on starters means he might not want to rotate elsewhere. Yeah. So if Salah and Robertson can't play and they're both out at the minute, so there's two you're missing already. To then make changes as well. Yeah. Before you know it, you've got 5 first teamers, your best team not playing. So I think the fact that it's likely that Salah won't play, it's like, you know, Robertson's 50-50. He's already probably put a Milner at left back, and he's got a choice of maybe Origi or Chamberlain in his front three. Yeah. To then go and do anything else, I think it's a bit much. So I think he'll go for Palace with what he's got, and then he'll come in on Sunday, Monday, whatever, and then that's when he picks his Napoli team.
My feeling on that is, you're right, and just to your point, I don't think, well, when we talk about this, it's not like we're talking Capital One Cup, where the Carabao Cup changes, to normal league game changes. We're talking Origi starts a game in place of one of the front three, and maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain comes in place of one of the midfield.
Comes in, or Ginny plays and Milner drops out. It's only going to be one or two, if that. Steve's right that if you're going to make changes for injuries, you're not making too many.
If Salah's a doubt, which means that he can carry on because he's been playing. He's not injured, is he? He's just got a persistent thing that's being managed or whatever at the moment. But it's whether he thinks, do I play him against Palace and give him Napoli off, or do I give him Napoli off and play? I just
think he's injured. I think he made it worse against City. He's been in that walking boots. He's missed international, but he hasn't even. They give him time off. He didn't even really go to Melwood, did he? Much. He was there for treatment for a little bit. So I would be very surprised if we see him at all. Even Palace or Napoli, I think he'll probably looking a week after. I think if they can get Robertson on the pitch, he will. I think he's been playing through it as well. I think it's one of those things that they're going to just try and manage. The thing is, in the league, is that it isn't unfathomable that Liverpool can build a lead then you can start changing. So if you can get yourself into a 12-point lead or whatever, 13, 14 points, you can then start taking your foot off the gas a little bit. I think that's the aim. I think he's almost trying to do how Chelsea won the league, is that can we win the league by January? I know, again, I'm not saying we will, but that's the aim, isn't it? Try and just blather it now, and then we can kind of manage the rest of the season as we are then. I think it's too important at the minute. I think he's literally just going to say who's fit, who's available, you're playing, and then we'll cross the next bridge when we get to it.
Yeah. And I must admit, like the Robertson thing's interesting to me, because at some point with him not training, there is going to be a law of diminishing returns. And I think he actually uses this week to go, do you know what? He's had 2 weeks off from Scotland. If he's 100% fit, I think he starts. Yeah. If he's not...
Trent.
No, Robbo.
No, I mean, if he's...
Oh, no, if he's not 100% fit, I think you just get him to 100% fit, because you can use that 2 weeks for free, get that third week in him, hopefully it's all behind him, and then he can go properly for the rest of the run, rather than him being at 75%, 73%, 70% going into each game.
Well, because I was going to say, if he's fit, and that, all the rumours and assertions and this is that he's fine. He needed some treatment. He wasn't so... He probably could have played for Scotland, but he's taken this time to get himself right. And my question, Dad, was more on the lines of, if Robertson is fit and available, Trent's played a lot of football. He's played more football than Robertson in this last spell, not by loads, but by a sum. Do you maybe say Palace is a good opportunity, because you can trust Milner in that game?
Well, Gomez.
Well, Gomez is a doubt, isn't he? So I don't know whether he could. But
he was only upset, wasn't he? It's fine.
I don't know, man.
He did miss a training session with England and stuff, but they reckon he's like 75% that he can figure.
I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think this is even a conversation. I don't think he rests anyone. Yeah. I think he just picks his best team for Palace. And if anything, he'll make changes against Napoli. He
has something against Palace as well, doesn't he? After that first game at Anfield,
I think he just goes strong against Palace, and then he sees what's left for Napoli. Because the thing with the Napoli game is, even a point, you still got the Salzburg game. You know what I mean? I think. And I
just think my feeling on this though, it's so. There's just so many games of football to play. Yeah. It's too important. You're not saying, look, this is not would you sacrifice 3 points in the league to get 3 points in the Champions League? It's not that, because you can get 3 points in both. But it's whether there's going to be a waiting, I think, between the two, because there's just going to be fitness issues. You're not going to be able to play. If he considers Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho to be his best midfield three, and we know what his best front three is, and we know, barring injuries, what his best back five is he going to want to play them 2 games on the bounce? There is a slight difference between what Klopp's best team is and what, you know what I mean, the rotation thing. It's a good game. It's whether it's a good game for Oxlade-Chamberlain's maybe a good way to look at it.
He also does have views on his team for European games, doesn't he? He just tends to play Milner in European games.
Well, yeah, that's it.
And I think those things come into the equation, you know.
Well, that's when Milner's got all his footies.
Robertson not being fit obviously means Milner will play left back, and that'll probably rule him out in Napoli unless Robertson's still unfit.
Yeah, because the Oxlade-Chamberlain stuff, Steve, I think it's probably the first time in ages I've been really happy to see a player go on England duty, because he really needed those games, and he comes away. I think he covers himself in glory. Great goal in the first game, gets an assist in the second. But having basically played 2 games of football, is that then do Liverpool look to keep him, keep him wrapped up or whatever? Be careful with them at the weekend.
It's Tuesday to Saturday, isn't it? At some point you've got to play.
And also, he needs those games of football. Because what better way to get yourself ready for 2 games a week than 2 games in a frigging week, by the way?
He said that's where he's short, isn't it? Playing 90 minutes, so.
At some point, they're all going to play. Yeah. So I don't know. I think he goes as what best he can for Palace, and then we go from there. I think you want to start a run with your best team, and then you kind of mix and match it. And listen, every game's a big game between now and the end of this. I mean, there's no gimmies. I mean, depending on what your thoughts are on the Club World Cup, the League Cup, which we're just going to bin, and see what happens with the under 23s. Everything's that's the joys of being a big club. And listen, Man City got through it last year, and ultimately they got to finals.
Crystal Palace is a good example of where they
can't afford to take their eye off the ball in the league, though, can they? I mean, they've got reasonably easy games coming up between now and when we play Leicester on Boxing Day, apart from Everton maybe, which is always tougher.
Yeah,
but we're playing the likes of West Ham and Bournemouth and Brighton. They're all games which you should be winning, but which are there as banana skins to drop points in.
That's the thing, isn't it? We've earned this gap.
We really need to actually push right through that, and then you get to Boxing Day and you're really sitting pretty.
That's the thing, isn't it? We've played the top 7 and won most of those games. Obviously, drew 1 against United. We've earned them right now to go and extend that gap with a run of games you'd expect Liverpool to win without being disrespectful. Liverpool are better than the teams they're going to face. So now you've got to do it. Otherwise, that's kind of for nothing. So I think you've got to go to Palace and win, see what happens between City and Chelsea, what you'd call 2 of the title rivals at the minute. They're playing each other, so one of them's dropping points. So before you know it, you could have a very substantial lead. Obviously, Leicester's fixtures are pretty easy for them. So I think he'll go, what we consider his best team, I think what we all agree, other than, if he makes changes, it'll be because Salah and Robertson aren't fit. If they were fit, they'd be playing. I think it's nailed on.
Just to riff off of what Steve said there and go back to what you said at the top of the show, that falling at the first hurdle thing. Well, we play 3 o'clock, they play 5:30. We'll drop points in this game, and then City go out there like that, ready to play Chelsea, win 3 points, big turnaround. No, you can't let that happen. Yeah. You can't let that happen at all. You go out there, you win, you put them under more pressure.
You want them thinking
themselves when they go out that they have to get 3 points.
Exactly. You want them going into that Chelsea game thinking like, we're about to go through one of our toughest games of the season, and the best we can possibly hope for
is get back to 9.
Is to get back to a 9 point gap. No, I completely agree on that. It's just going to be very interesting to see how the manager does handle it, because of, as I say, that every game's big.
What's odd is that, notoriously Palace away is one of those games where you always look at it and think, you know what I mean? And even our record there is actually quite good in recent years. But they're always tough games. You never come out of Palace away thinking we breezed through that. Yeah. Even like Burnley away recently, we've kind of cracked Burnley away. We keep winning there, but they've always, other than the earlier year, they've always made us work for it.
While they've got Zaha, and while they've got AU, and while they've got Townsend to come in or whatever,
a good crowd in that,
and
it's really quite a difficult place to go to.
And
but it's pace, isn't it? You can never discount just having fast, skillful lads.
Or lads who can score from 40 yards. Yeah. And they've got that in them, you know what I mean? They've got...
Well, exactly. This is exactly what we're saying this. This is what undid Man City last season. It wasn't being comprehensively played off the pitch. It was Andros Townsend smacking one in a lifetime, one in a season, one in off, from 25, 30 yards or whatever, which is the issue with Crystal Palace, is that you're right. I mean, look, I think we've had 1 clean sheet there since they came back to the Premier League, which was last season, and you wouldn't say that was a comfortable win in any way, shape or form. We got a penalty and Mane scores in the 90th minute to finally put it to bed. So yeah, you're right. It'd be silly of us to take our eyes off it. I just want to talk about some of the players that have come back or whatever. Xherdan Shaqiri, Chris, the absolute forgotten man. We talked about him on the Reds News Roundup and what a big boost that is for Liverpool. I think he's played...
Not a big boost.
Psychologically. He's played I think it's 14 minutes for us this season.
14 more than I remember.
Yeah, 4 substitute appearances.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
But I don't expect
the forgotten man.
it'd be mad to see him get thrown straight in, but also You know, he's there. He's a top quality footballer. When you look at those lads who could come in and say Salah's out, Origi's probably going to be the first option in that regard.
Shaq becomes your sub.
He's got a lot of work to do to get back into the manager's thoughts, really, hasn't he, Shaqiri? And he's got to take those opportunities, whether it's 14 minutes or 40 minutes, if he's able to get one. I think, you know, he should get more minutes through this part of the season. I'd be really surprised if he got minutes against Crystal Palace. Just with Klopp and knowing how long he likes people to train for, he goes back in on training on Tuesday. When you're not in a rush to get someone back in, I think you give him 2 weeks probably before he's a proper
Pepper's
feature.
come out and said the World Club Championship is so important that, and you sort of suggested, without saying it clearly, that every fit first team player will be on the plane to play in that tournament. It'll be interesting to see whether Shaq is on the plane or he's left behind. Then you'll know how much he's in.
Which is mad, isn't it? Because we were talking about him on the Red Seas roundup, weren't we, Steve? He's so good. He's such a good footballer, and the fact that we have completely forgotten about him is a bit mad because, as we mentioned, this spell last year is when we get all our value out of Shaqiri this time last year.
Pretty much pays us, 13 million quid, and he repays you in those 6 goals around that time. Almost pay for himself at that point. So he will get games. I think he will see him again. It's probably too early. If Salah doesn't play, he could be the one who comes in on the bench. So Origi goes up into the first team and then Shaq backs him up on the bench.
He drops into that category of football, and this is what our squad is. Outside of the probably 13 players, I think, who are nailed on, they could start, they're Klopp's true first choice players. But he's one of those players who, you drop him out, any one of our first 11, in the position he plays in, and you put him in for the odd game, no one's asked. Because that's how good he is, and we've gone so far this season. People talk about the depth that we've got. There's a lad there who's he's Switzerland's best player. He's a Premier League, he's a Champions League quality player that we have access to. Again, probably a bit too soon, but if any of us, I'm sure most of us, we miss Mohamed Salah. But if he chose to go with Shaqiri in the front three instead of Origi, I don't think anyone would be up in arms about the decision. It would be a bit odd because to throw him in out the cold kind of thing. But I think
you mean if he's fit and fresh and he's back into it?
All of a sudden, it's not like.
Do you know what? I have a few question marks over him still. I think he had a really good portion of last season, but then he proper tailed off, and he was useless in games.
So he never played, so we don't know why. But the question is, why didn't he play?
There's a reason he wasn't playing, isn't there? We might not know, but really he's clearly tailed off. Otherwise, he'd have been involved. We were in so many games towards the back end of the season.
It's a bit of a vicious circle, isn't it? Because if you don't play games, you don't get fit, and you don't get really sharp. But if you're not really sharp, you don't get in.
He seemed to perform well in that 4-2-3-1. From last season, from my mind, and never performed in 4-3-3. That's the thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting right now.
Apart from Barcelona.
Yeah, clearly.
He wasn't great against Barcelona.
He was rubbish against Barcelona, but he set a goal. That's what he's got going for him, is that he's got that ability to do something. And if you want from a sub, it would be great if you could bring a sub on and he's just brilliant.
Well, given that we could go to 4-2-3-1 in the last 10 minutes of games when we've been chasing something and we've been trying to force it.
Against City, Trent moved to right wing, so we might be behind him in the pecking order now as well.
He can take a free kick. He's got that. Like I say, he's almost like you can bring him off the bench and expect him to do something. Yeah. He might be a bit rubbish, but then all of a sudden, like the Barca game, he was rubbish. And
I think he's more of a liability over 90 minutes than he is over 20.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. So I think
you got more chance of getting something out of him in 20 minutes.
Even Origi at
good subs.
Yeah, good subs.
Again, if you're dropping them in isolation, it's your first choice for time side. There's not really any problem with them starting a game, but they're not going to be.
You prefer them as subs.
Exactly.
I think the worst place to put him is wide. Because he's not a winger in any way, shape or form, and he loses his touch of the game too easily. Yeah. He needs to be involved because he's got great touch. Yeah. Can pass the ball, shoot.
But he fits in with that. The big thing is, we were talking about this in the car. I think it was yesterday, Paul. Is that when you put someone in on the wing there, the whole team is built around that winger getting into the box and scoring goals. Yeah. Shaqiri wants to play the pass, which is fine. He's got a brilliant through ball. He can judge a pass. He can pick a man out. He can pick a run out. Origi's natural instinct as a centre forward is to get in the box and score goals. Yeah. So he works out on the left. Yeah. Shaqiri's a winger playing an inside forwards role. It doesn't suit him. Yeah. Put him in that 10 and he looks much better.
What he is, and he falls into the same category as Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Adam Lallana. These things, 10 minutes to go and you're looking to overload. and you're taking the likes of Henderson out of the game. You want lads who are great in small spaces. And there's no one better than Ginger.
Because it's massive to him.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge.
All the time in the world, boys.
But that's where we've been seeing Liverpool, and whether it's just our break glass solution to football matches, or whether it's something we'll see an evolution of this side. But you can see where his use is going to be, and they are when teams are backing off, teams are sitting deep, Liverpool are looking to make something happen. You put is another good option in that regard, and it's up to him, because we've still got Kate is still trying to prove himself. Lallana is Lallana, isn't he? I think Oxlade-Chamberlain is one, is so close to being a true first 11 starting
I think
player.
we'll see Shaqiri start a few home games over December. I would be amazed if he didn't. Between now and Boxing Day, like John mentioned, that run, he'll start a couple of those league games.
Well, we said, didn't we, Steve, the level of opposition, he gets goals against the kind of teams that we're coming up against.
Cardiff, Fulham, Burnley, like that's what he done last. That's what he did. Yeah. Man United were crap, he scored against them. Yeah. They were a rubbish team when we played them. They probably still are for a bit, but genuinely, the teams who are not the top teams, but the level below. Yeah. He'll do that, because he'll score Premier League goals, because he always has scored Premier League goals.
And that's what, again, the Origi bracket. Yep. He's more than good enough to come into this type of football matches and probably and have a tangible impact.
In terms of Palace, that his choice is going to be if
not even going to be on the bench.
Yeah,
like we said.
We've spent 10 minutes talking about a guy who's not playing in this game.
But he's one of the options that if Salah's out, the three that you'd say it's Origi, Shaqiri or Chamberlain. You would say one of those. So you're going to play somewhere in the front three with Firmino and Salah. Sorry, with Firmino and Mane. He's in the conversation. If he's 100% fit, Klopp will definitely, he's in consideration for sure. He must.
If he's decided, like for example, if he's decided Chamberlain's playing in the midfield for this,
then it's Origi or Shaq. Yeah. It's a shootout for the front two, isn't it? So.
Right, we're going to talk a little bit more about what the team's going to be in a moment. But before we do, I sat down last week with former Liverpool goalkeeper Chris Kirkland, and the full interview is on the redmentv.com, but here's a taste. We move into 2002, 2003, and then obviously on from there as well. The ULA, you start to see a bit of the beginning of the end, I think, that summer.
I mean, when he come back from his obviously his illness, his heart attack, weren't it? He still, when he come back, he was still withdrawn. He still didn't look right. He looked still. I think he come back too early. I think he admitted himself he did that. Yeah. So I think he come back a little bit too early. He just didn't seem, not with it. He just did it. You could still say he was suffering the effects of that. And I think he's come out and said that he come back far too soon. But he loves football. He's just 24/7, Joe. I mean, what he did for me. I remember when I did my cruise ship down at Crystal Palace. I sat on the plane next to him on the way back, and I had to stretch my leg out. And he just said to me, he said, "You've got 4 or 5 years left on your contract." And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I'm going to give you a new contract." And give me a new 6-year contract the next day, because he looked after players. Did the same with Jamie Carragher when Carragher broke his leg. He just looked after players. He knew how to, when you're feeling as low as you could, he knew how to just give you that little bit of a bump up. So I mean, I've got nothing but good things to say about Gerrard Huller. Yeah, he gave me my dream.
Yeah, well,
he gave me my dream.
Yes, you can get the full interview right now on the redmentv.com. Go over there, sign up. It's completely free for the first month, so you want the full thing. Very, very good stuff indeed. A whole range of subject covered. Let's crack on with the show then, Mr. Chris Pajak. We've talked about whether Klopp will preference one match or the other or whatever. Does Chris Pajak preference one match or the other? Is it a Henderson
elite mentality, mate? Always the game in front of you. Yeah, always the game in front of you. That and the Premier League more important than anything.
Anything out the ordinary then for you?
No, I think to be honest, I'd put Robbo down, but as we were talking before, I've changed my mind, and I think preferred 11-wise, I'd probably go Milner at this point, just to make sure that Robbo's 100% for the next few games that are coming up and stuff. Other than that, I'm probably looking at Mane, Firmino, Origi front three, normal midfield. Lovren, obviously, probably the centre half over Gomez. Yeah, I'm going to run Trent into the ground.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me. There's 2 decision points. Injuries notwithstanding, is I would probably put Oxlade-Chamberlain in for this game, just because I think, maybe Napoli is finally the big team. Maybe this is his chance to step up and try it against a really, really top team.
He performs against those type of teams.
Yeah, exactly. But so far we haven't really tested him, I think, against real quality opposition from the start. So it could be that. But following on what we've seen so far, I think this might be the game. And the only other thing I'm doing is, I think Milner plays regardless. I think he's either plays left back or he plays right back. If Robertson's fit, because he's had the international break off, I'm you know, I'd be putting Robertson in and I'd be taking Trent out just to give him a little bit of time off. Or if Robertson's not fit, then it'll have to be Milner. That's all I'd be doing, Steve.
I think Trent will play. I'd play him as well. I'm not interested in giving him a rest just yet. Give me the
Young
point.
lad.
Give me the points, so I'll box that off later. I think Milner will play left back, if I'm honest. I think he might leave Robertson. And then in the midfield, it will be probably Firmino, Henderson, Gini. And then I think it's Origi or Chamberlain in the front three.
Yeah.
I think I would go Chamberlain. I think I would go Chamberlain on the left, put Mane on the right and put Firmino up front. I think Chamberlain will naturally help Milner, who I think will be at left back as well, which might give a little bit more solid over there. Mm-hmm. And this might sound mad, but I don't know what we're going to get from Ox this year. So let's strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's get it now, because who knows? I mean, inevitably there's going to be a dip. There's got to be, because you don't just come back and be brilliant straight away. And for the most part, you know, his performances haven't been altogether fantastic, but he's had these moments. So I would just kind of go with the hot hand. Yeah. Get him in the team, get him playing, get him fit, and then Origi's almost there for Napoli if you need him. Again, if Mo can't play, Origi's first sub again, as he always is. I'm just not. Again, it's one of those. I think Origi's a good sub. I don't think he's a brilliant starter. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what I'd do.
John, what's actually going to happen?
The oracle over
We've
here.
all had a guess over here, but tell us.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that everyone's fit, and then your only problem is what you do in midfield. And my midfield against Palace would be Fabinho, Henderson and Wijnaldum. Mm-hmm. I keep Ox for Napoli because he's new.
Yeah.
We haven't been great against Napoli. Even the last game we outplayed them, we got beat. Yeah. I think Ox might be a little bit of a joker factor in there, you know, which might tip the balance. So I would go with him against Napoli.
And as we said,
and maybe if Robertson's not fit, obviously Milner will replace him. If Robertson is fit, then I think Milner will play against Napoli.
The Oxlade-Chamberlain thing, just from what I was saying before, Dad, he's not. We've built him up nicely. You know, we've brought him back. We've managed him really well on this journey back to the first team. You know, and he's performed against whoever he's come up against. But we haven't got many top teams now in this spell. So it would be interesting experiment just to go on. You're starting against Napoli. You've earned the right to start in a really big game.
What he's been doing is finding little pockets of space just outside the penalty area, and those are invaluable. If you can find a player who can pick the ball up there with enough space to get a shot away, you know, he's worth his weight in gold. And I think that's what he's doing at the moment.
It's kind of hard playing against the Palace. Well, I actually quite like what they do at the back. They're not amazing. They've got good. You know, Kale's been really good for them. It's probably going to be Tompkins next to him. They're not brilliant, but they can defend all right. They made Chelsea work hard for that 2-0, for example. Again, Chamberlain is that, what you say, he's the one who can score from 20 yards. You mean he might need that. Yeah. So I think that's why I'll be having him in. Again, Palace aren't like, they're not a brilliant footy team. They're a decent Premier League side, and they are going to make us work for it. I think it's just a preference. I think I'd fancy Ox, but
it's another example of a game though for me. Like last season, you can't improve points wise on Crystal Palace away, because you go to Selhurst Park, you win 2-0, 3 points boxed, but you can improve on how you go about achieving those points. And for me, it'd be nice for us to actually get that game done in a little bit more under our own steam, a little bit more under our control. You know, not needing a penalty and a late counter-attacking goal. It'd be nice for us to go and just. Yeah. Like we started to do against Burnley.
To be fair,
go and dominate the game.
We do that against everyone. When Steve was saying that we've cracked Burnley and that, we've cracked everybody.
Yeah,
we've cracked everybody. That's the thing.
Yeah. We've now got options. We've got players who can come in.
The positive on Palace is that against good teams recently they've lost. So, you know, Chelsea beat them, Leicester beat them, City beat them, Tottenham beat them, all within the last couple of months. Obviously, they get that draw at Arsenal, but Arsenal were all over them. It just, the Emirates turned into the Emirates, and the old Xhaka thing happened. So when they've played against the good teams, they haven't been battered, but they've kind of, I get the feeling with Palace that if they go 2 down, they kind of throw it. It isn't the old Palace, where we know quite well about comebacks and stuff. Hodgson seems quite pragmatic team in that. He'll kind of take it.
The thing about Hodgson is, and that's why you're right, it's important to try and get this game won as early as possible for, you know, Napoli, all that stuff. But we've seen it with Hodgson ourselves. He his management style's mad. It's like defend for your lives, and then if it's close,
we'll go for
throw everything at it in the last 10 minutes, and everyone comes away thinking like, oh, look how exciting we can be, and blah blah blah. He blinded us for probably another couple of months than we would normally have had by trying that stuff. But we've had that with, we've seen it when they're bringing Benteke in, and is it Sorloth or whatever was the other big fella they had, in the past. They throw the kitchen sink at you, and I'd rather us not have to be clinging on for dear life in this game.
Not at that ground, not with them fans.
Yeah, did you hear anything about what Virgil's personal stuff was about?
I didn't know.
I
presume
if he weren't going to play, they'd be talking about it. He was going to be fine, hadn't he?
But yeah, you're right. In terms of Palace's form going into this, obviously going back to September, they lost to Spurs, drew with Wolves, beat Norwich and West Ham back to back. But since then, lost to Man City at home, drew with Arsenal away, lost to Leicester at home, lost to Chelsea away,
it's
and then us.
Bloody tough run.
That is
Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea, Liverpool.
He had them in fifth or something, and they got those fixtures, and they've kind of found themselves back where you'd think they would be by average.
Wilfried Zaha has not scored a goal and has just one assist in his 12 appearances.
He's had a cob on, hasn't he?
Season. Yeah, I know.
He's had a cob on, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He really fancied going to Everton, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
But which is mad. Yeah, fair play to him.
Surely be made up now. Not gonna go. Yeah, dodged the bullet there.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I could.
And they've not even got the prospect of getting Mourinho as their manager now.
They never did have.
They were all secretly hanging on for.
Yeah, it's a good one. Pochin, I could have seen.
God, imagine. Mad, out the frying pan and into the fire. Just some of the games going on this weekend.
Just go through the new stadium shit for another 10 years.
Stick around till the new stadium's open. Oh, isn't it lovely?
That would be top of his CV.
I'm retiring, lads. When's this stadium coming?
That would be on his CV.
That's brilliant.
Experience in waiting for a new stadium.
Yeah. He's open to the ribbon cutting of 2 stadia. That's on his personal achievements.
Well, absolutely.
He's got no fucking trophies.
That record of achievement book you got when you leave school. That's what Pochettino's is like. It's got a picture of him with the scissors outside the whatever Tottenham's ground's called. Spurs, mentioned them, just a couple of games coming up this weekend. Well, the full fixture list, obviously. Spurs travel to West Ham, so the West Ham fans rolling their eyes at that one. New manager just in time to face them.
They've been dog shit, West Ham.
Yeah, they've fallen off a cliff, haven't they, the last few weeks? But it'd be hilarious if they actually went and if they managed to pick up the win there. Leicester travel to Brighton at the same time as us, 3 o'clock, and then City, Chelsea. I mean, personally, and I've been doing this all season long, and is it an anti-jinxing kind of situation? I prefer not to say, but I can't see. I just don't feel like Chelsea will have it.
Was it 6-0 they lost there last season?
Absolutely, I disagree. Chelsea are informed.
They've 7 games, is it?
They won loads. Listen, City will be favourites in every game they play now. From now to the end of the season, they're going to be the favourites in every league game. But you can score goals against City, and Chelsea have got goals in them. Whether Chelsea's defence is still, I think, a bit suspect. I think they've got a couple of young players back there.
Is it Tomori?
Yeah, he's been fine. He's been pretty good, and then obviously whoever's next to him, it rotates a little bit still without Rudiger. But Abraham and Mount and Willian, they've got goals, and Pep will have been, he hasn't got nowhere to tear out, but he'd have been sitting there rubbing his head for 2 weeks thinking, how am I sorting this back 4 out?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he does, because there's no way in a million years he can go with what he's gone with again and hope for better results, because Chelsea will get chances.
I've got this sneaky feeling though, because he's been so, and he had 2 weeks to stew on it. This has got one of those, like, it wouldn't necessarily define Chelsea's season in any way, shape or form, but you wouldn't want to be the first team to play play City after Pep's been stewing for the fortnight.
I like what Lampard's doing at Chelsea, and I think he is going to do a good job. And I think I said at the start of the season, I expected them to get top 4. But 2 weeks of City analysing Chelsea and Frank Lampard's system, and Pep Guardiola comes up with something that obliterates them.
Yeah. I don't know. Chelsea hold on for the first half. I think they're in every chance.
Chelsea got one of the most informed goal scorers. City's defensive crap.
Yeah.
We scored off our first couple of chances, and we almost had a few more. And listen, we've got world-class forward, so that's one thing. But Tammy Abraham will be licking his lips now. He really will. And the same with the other end. City's players will be like, we need to put it right. I don't think it'll be a battering.
The funny thing I said about Chelsea and Lampard in the summer was, I think they'll reach a point in the season when it gets a bit sticky for them, and does Lampard have the experience to drag them out? And it's just, I mean, for his sake, I hope they do something, because it could be one of those where you get to ride the feel-good factor.
Mate, they pushed us. They pushed us.
I was surprised by how good Chelsea were.
Where Chelsea fall down this season, and I do think they do. I think they'll still be good, but it's the amount of games that are coming. Because young players playing at the level they've been playing at, the consistency for the first third of a season or whatever, when it gets to 2 games a week, when it gets to December, that's when you'll see their performances start to go a bit more up and down.
But listen, it's after this weekend.
Yeah, but listen, absolutely. But listen, we've been talking about Leicester. We've learned our lessons from Leicester from them winning the title. You don't write things off, and good teams if you keep
they should be
fresh and keep them injury free. Chelsea will give City a game. It's just I can't fathom a world where Liverpool could be 12 points ahead of Manchester City at the end of the weekend. And obviously we've still got to win against Palace before that can even be a possibility. But I can't see it being, because that's
about 10. Will you settle for 10?
Yeah, because let's be honest. If Liverpool are 12 points ahead of Manchester City come Saturday night, that's the league done. I think.
Well, for them, but then it would mean that Chelsea are within X amount. Because Chelsea will have won. It would rule City out pretty much. It wouldn't rule Chelsea or Leicester out, would it? It then becomes Liverpool are the massive favourites with these.
There's no way if Liverpool win the league, it doesn't go down to the last fucking game. After 30 years, I think.
Listen, I think it might.
That's what I was going to say. If they're going to do it now, it better not.
Just do it. Imagine Cancer into the title after all the stress and we've been put through. I'm here for that, lads and ladies. Please let it just be that. Score predictions for our game then, Steve. Crystal Palace, Liverpool.
Same as last year, 2-0.
Dan?
2-0.
Liverpool can see goals now. 3-1.
Okay.
Liverpool do concede goals. A good point.
Only the third best defence in the league now. Who's better? Chelsea? Is Chelsea better?
No, it's Chelsea. Marco Silva's out.
Oh, it's Leicester with 8, Sheffield United with 9 and us with 10, isn't it?
There you go.
Chrissy Wilder's
crazy. I think 2-0 as well. I think, much like last season, and I said, it's about improving the way in which you get the results this season. I think it'll be 2-0.
Who cares? I just want to win. Give me the Villa game.
But that's what I mean. I think I don't think we'll back
Palace
them.
huff and puff, then concede a goal. Then they tail off. Then they huff and puff a bit more. Then they concede a goal.
Shake hands.
Done.
I'm here for that. Thank you very much. Take 3 points off the Hodge and on our merry way. Thank you very much for watching and for listening to this. And yes, as mentioned, we've got some fantastic interviews on the redmentv.com. We've got Chris Kirkland and we've got Robbie Fowler, completely exclusive, in-depth, some fascinating insights to 2 completely different eras of Liverpool football with a wonderful bit of crossover in the middle. But yeah, you can get that completely free for the first month. I do employ you to go and check it out. Perfect time to sign up with the festive period and all these mad things happening around Liverpool. Gentlemen, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure and we'll see you all post Crystal Palace